All right, Michael. So that red light just came on. A lot of people bolt. They get really nervous because this is high pressure podcasting. How are you feeling? You want to go forward with the interview?
Yeah, I'm fine.
He's
I'm
good. All
fine.
right, he's good, everybody. Well, let's
All
jump
right.
into it. Why don't you tell my listeners? Let's give us your sort of your 90-second pitch as to who you are and what you do.
So my name's Michael Machat, and I own my company owns the trademarks and the brand names for Vampire and Dracula for wine and spirits and coffee and chocolate. We mainly sell Vampire wine, and we now have Dracula wine as well. We have a Vampire Tequila. We have a Vampire absinthe, ready to drink cocktail. We have Vampire vodka, Dracula vodka. Dracula wine, Dracula's daughter. Vampire coffee, a whole bunch of stuff. And we sell it all on vampire.com. And we have a national distribution network of about 40 distributors around 40 states or so.
Nice, awesome. Well, let's talk a little bit about what's the origin story to this. How did you get into it? What's the background? How long you guys been doing this? Yeah, let's hear how this all started.
So this all started over 30 years ago. I just had this idea. It was after reading the book Dracula. It wouldn't be cool if someone had a wine called Vampire and it came from Dracula's cellar, and maybe we can even get it from Transylvania. That was the original idea. And then as I was looking into that, I figured I didn't even know where Transylvania was in the beginning. But then when I did find out, I figured, well, I'll go there, see if I can get some wine. They were communists at the time, way back. It was way back in the 90s. And anyway, they didn't want to do business with me. They didn't understand the whole concept or anything. But when the wall came down, I went back and I met with various wineries, and I started actually bringing some in. But everything that could go wrong with wine went wrong. And finally, I realized I live in California. I'm just going to go get it from California. And so we now have like excellent juice from California. The winery's up in Napa. We've got quality control. I can drive there when I want to check in on things. We win lots of gold medals. Everyone just loves our products. And the name sells it, but the quality makes it so people want to keep coming back. And then once we start with Vampire wine, then we expand the Dracula wine, and we got a Vampire vodka, and now we even have Vampire Tequila from Mexico.
That's wild. So let's talk a little bit about maybe trademarks for people who don't know. Like, how did you end up acquiring them? What was the process to that? How are the steps? Like, we don't talk much on these episodes about trademarking, but just how did that all happen?
Well, my background's a trademark lawyer. I am a lawyer. So when I had this idea, I thought, I can't believe nobody hasn't done this before. It just seemed so obvious. Back in those days, people thought I was nuts. They thought, who'd want to buy a wine called Vampire? I thought, well, I would. So I went about trademarking, and the trademark something you have to it you have to apply it to some goods or services, and if you're the first one to use it, then you can obtain it, and then you can prevent other people from entering the market and using your trademark. Just like the first people that came up with, say, Coca-Cola, they prevent anyone else from using Coca-Cola, as they were the first to call it Coca-Cola. That's kind of like that kind of the deal. Then we expanded, and I realized, well, let's get Dracula next.
Correct.
And so that's what we have. But again, it's just for wine and spirits and coffee and chocolate. So if someone wants to do Vampire sneakers, well, that's, they can if they want.
Right. Yeah. Let's talk about distribution right now. Where are you guys located, and where can people kind of find it? What does distribution look like right now for you guys?
So we're located in California. The winery's up in Napa. We sell on vampire.com. We have a distribution warehouse in Ventura, but we also have a network of distributors in about 40 states. And stores like Cost Plus World Market, for example, they carry us. So anywhere there's Cost Plus World Market, you can buy Vampire wine. But we also sell it online, so people can get it one way or another. They can get it. We're in some state stores like in Utah. We do a lot of business. There's like 53 stores in Utah, and we're in every liquor store in Utah, for instance, like every Vampire Pinot Noir year round. And we sell a lot in New Orleans, a lot in Texas and New York, and it's scattered around. We also self-distribute in California as well. So we have a warehouse that we use in Riverside as well, where we'll make deliveries from a Riverside warehouse to wherever it has to go in California.
And has it been challenging sort of navigating the rules and regulations around distribution, selling it online to in stores? How does that work right now for you guys?
Yes, so the wine and spirits business is full of regulations. Wineries, there are certain exceptions for wineries in California, which is good for California wineries. But in general, for example, if Costco wanted to buy wine from us in Houston, we couldn't just sell directly to Costco. We have to sell through a Texas distributor. Now, I have a Texas distributor that we've been using for like 20 years or something like that. So we sell to the Texas distributor, and then the Texas distributor sells to Costco. But every time we sell wine to somebody in Texas, like once a month, we need to get reports to the state of Texas. Who are we selling our wine to? And whether it's to a distributor, we're selling hundreds of cases, or if it's to an individual who's buying 2 bottles, they get a monthly report from us, and they collect tax on it. And every state has different laws.
Wow.
So that makes it difficult, and it's kind of like a minefield. And we have someone that's all they do is compliance.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, let's move over a little bit to some awards. So, I mean, I was diving in, before this episode and getting my notes, and it looks like you guys have won some significant awards. Talk to us a little bit about the world of accolades, what that's done for you guys, how you go about it. Just like tell us some of the awards that you guys have won.
So we keep winning awards from the San Francisco Chronicle wine competition. And so we apply to that one. We won awards from the LA Invitational Wine Competition as well. We've won awards from the Las Vegas International Wine Competition. And basically, it's a bunch of judges get together. A lot of them, some of them happen to be wine buyers, actually. And they just taste the various wines and they rate them and they grade them. And, we get scores in the 90s and gold and platinum medals. Sometimes we get silver medals. I mean, because people like our stuff, we have good winemakers that we work with.
That's nice. So, you mentioned it a minute ago, but I want to kind of touch back on it because I've known you, or you've been in at least my sphere. I've been watching for at least probably over a year now, I think. Talk to us about moving into the spirits world and the ready to drink cocktails. That it seems like that's where you guys are going, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, we're doing both, but I'll start with tequila because that wasn't the first thing. But tequila. In Mexico, they have their Day of the Dead. So in America, Halloween's October 31st. Day of the Dead is November 6th. And they have this whole horror thing going on there in the world of Mexico with the Day of the Dead. And I've spoken to a lot of people about it before, about coming out with a vampiro or vampire. Vampiro is vampire in Mexican and stuff, in Spanish rather. So anyway, it just seemed like maybe, there's something we could do there because they sell so much tequila. It's so popular. And then I discovered that actually bats pollinate agave plants, just like bees pollinate flowers. Bats actually pollinate agave. And without the bats, there wouldn't be wild agave. And they stick their noses in, they fly around at night, and they drop the pollen, and agave plants grow. So there's
That's a good fun fact. I just learned something today. I did not know that.
Right, there's a natural connection between bats and agave, and so the whole thing with a vampire tequila is like, why not? And so anyway, being a trademark lawyer, I have actually a lot of clients in Mexico that I do their trademarks for various tequilas. So through one of them, we just had this idea: let's do a vampire tequila. And I had a designer that made something, and I showed the guy in Mexico. I showed Sergio, and he liked it. He just mocked something up, and he sent it to me, and I said, all right, let's do it. So now we have it. And by the way, the tequila that we're doing it's high-end tequila. It's small batch. It's like a sipping tequila. It's not one of those tequilas. You can get some tequilas that are distilled in huge bunches, and they're inexpensive. Ours it's about $42 a bottle, retail. But we're coming out with some special packaging now to a reposado. It's going to be more expensive and really neat packaging, and I'll have it hopefully within the next month. It's going to be in a coffin-shaped box, and in the back it will tell the story about the bats and agave and stuff. So we have that in the spirits, but we also have a vampire absinthe cocktail. And the whole thing about it kind of goes as well. The whole mystery of absence. It's real. It's an interesting thing, and it kind of goes. We started doing that, and actually, I got a can right here. That's it.
Cool.
The fairy thing. I mean, this one we won 95 points. It was rated 95 points by Beverage Tasting Institute. They gave us a gold medal. It was like the best of the category. It's made with real absinthe. and we had ginger ale and lime. So it's kind of like instead of a vodka mule, it's an absinthe mule. So that one goes great, and that whole thing came about actually from a vampire Bloody Mary, which is still the goal, but that's
Yeah.
difficult to deal with because of the tomato juice, and we just
Sure.
only want to use
Sure.
fresh ingredients. So that's been difficult, but the absinthe came as a result of that, and we're looking at doing other cocktails as well.
Yeah. And how did you kind of think about team members, sommeliers, people to put around you? What was some of the thought patterns behind finding the right people to help elevate and do everything you guys are doing?
Well, so the whole thing started with the Transylvania connection. So I was going there, and back in the late 80s, Pepsi was bringing in Romanian wine, Hungarian wine, Russian vodka, and they kind of had like the US monopoly. So I went to visit Pepsi, see if they could make the introduction. And that was right around when the time the wall was coming down. So they made the introduction. I just started talking to people in that wine trade, and living in California, I just started meeting people. And then within the years, I met a guy named Mark Hoffman, who's a sommelier, and we became friends. And he introduced me to the winemakers we're currently using up in Napa. And they're just great people. The foodies, basically. The way I see it, if you're a foodie, you can make great food, you can make great wine. It's a question of being picky.
Right.
And they're very, very picky, and they make some fabulous stuff. But it kind of like just met them just from being in the business and talking to people. Kind of like one thing leads to another.
Yeah. Do you find that this product is seasonal or around the Halloween time right now? In fact, I'm thinking I just interviewed a WeFunder campaign about a vampire movie. So I'm like, yeah, I'll put the wine and this together. So like, do you guys see yourself as being somewhat seasonal or seeing an uptick when you get around the Halloween time? Has
Yeah,
that been
well,
a trend that you've seen?
there definitely is an uptick, and our uptick starts in August because a lot of people. I mean, Halloween is a huge thing for a lot of
Yeah.
people, and a lot of people start preparing for it in August, and even retailers and wholesalers, they'll bring us in and they'll stack vampire wine heavy in the stores.
Mhm.
But at the same time, we are year round, just like you could watch a Dracula film in January. You could
Yeah.
drink Vampire One in January. In fact, we see an uptick too in February before Valentine's Day because of the romantic nature of vampire wine. There's an uptick for that too. And we also find that a lot of people drink our wine just because they like it. It just happens to be vampire. So we have, like, for example, Vampire Chardonnay. I mean, this is a local store near us, and they go through a ton of it. So just people that grab it out of the cold box, they're just drinking it, and it just happens to be called Vampire. It's kind of
Mhm.
like, for example, Yellowtail, they got a kangaroo, but you don't have to be a kangaroo
Yeah.
lover to drink that. I mean, well,
Sure.
same thing. People just drink it and come back to it and becomes their favorite wine, and this is what they order. We've been in some restaurants, for example, the Yard House restaurant chain, Vampire Merlot by the Glass for 7 years.
Mm. Nice.
Oh, it's just really good wine that happens to be called Vampire, has a fun story
Yeah.
and fun branding and stuff.
Yeah,
I
that's nice.
I call it liquid entertainment.
Let's move over a little bit to fundraising. So again, I mentioned it just a minute ago. I mean, I found you over on WeFunder, so it looks like the campaign is still open. So talk to us a little bit about just maybe the mindset behind how did you get there? Why did you want to get there? Why did you think about fundraising this way, and what that means?
Well, it just seemed like I've been following, as a lawyer, I've been following the Jobs Act as that went into effect, and I just thought
Mhm.
this would be a good way to get the brand out there and just let small investors basically own a piece, own
Mhm.
a piece, and they become customers as well. A lot of them become our customers or brand ambassadors, and it's just easier rather than dealing with venture capitalists, for example. Sometimes people refer to them as vulture capitalists, and you got to do all this work and stuff. They ask you all these questions, and you never know
Mhm.
if you're going to get a deal done. Whereas this is so much easier. It's like it's a small amount of money. People put in. We have a minimum 250, so they put in 250 and put in 1,000, 10,000, whatever they want. But it's just so much easier to deal with them. So I think we have a good offer on the table for people, and it just makes it easier, basically.
Yeah. And was there any concerns as you were going into it of just, these are pretty big brands that you have, the domains, the digital footprint that you have. Was there any kind of fear that you were thinking about as you were getting into crowdfunding?
No, I mean, everything's well protected. I mean, you're right. We also own vampire.com and vampireспirits.com. So we have great assets there. So it's all protected. So no, I didn't have any fear. In fact, I just thought it was easier because once it's set up, it can go and you can repeat it with refunder and stuff. It
How
just
about
gives us
like
more control.
sure, yeah. Oh, I agree with you completely. I mean, that's why I love crowdfunding. That's why I've been doing this. My previous company, I had VC money, and I don't have that company anymore. So here I am doing crowdfunding. So let's talk just a little bit about like maybe what's keeping you up at night though. I mean, around the company, around the business. What's the stuff that you're thinking about in terms of like, hey, we want to get this done by this year, maybe 3 years out, 5 years out. Just what's sort of that gnawing at you a little bit to make sure that you're hitting these milestones.
Well, I've had some
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah. And I want to backtrack. I would like to hear more about maybe like milestones and just how are you guys measuring KPIs right now? Where's growth? Where are you looking at that? And is there anything that you're trying to hit in maybe in the next year to 3 years for the company? Right.
distributors,
Right.
which is
That. And how about like, when you're shipping to people for alcohol, what does that look like around, shipping a bottle of wine to Michigan, let's say? How does that
okay.
work? Mm, mm-hmm, 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 mm-hmm. Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Right. 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 It certainly does. It's hilarious. Out of those, I mean, so yes, we've got what, four different entities: the coffee, the wine, spirits, the absinthe coming, right? The cocktail. Are you? I'm assuming, can you bundle this stuff together in your world, or is regulations and shipping and all that not making it work? Yeah. Yeah. Nice. Yeah. So how do as you're going through this, as you're thinking about growth, how do you think about yeses and nos around new products, right? Is it anything could be this, or is it like, what, that's too gimmicky, that's right on brand? Like, how do you sort of navigate just the thoughts of like anything could have a vampire on it? I don't, you know what I mean? At the end of the day. So how do you sort of think about that? Right. 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 Well, if people are listening and they want to dive into your world, where should we send them? Well, that's awesome. Well, Michael, I appreciate you taking time out of your day. For all our listeners out there, if you got to this point, go to the show notes. I will have all the links for you guys to dive in to this world here. Really interesting stuff. I've been watching from the sidelines over here. I think what you guys are doing is amazing. Really cool WeFunder campaign as well. So again, I encourage everybody, go check it out. Go dive into their world. Really cool stuff here. So thanks again, Michael, for your time.